They crashed just short of a runway on Abaco Island.
The very first thing I did was kneel down next to pretty much each one of them, one by one, and just kind of sat there and talked to them for a couple of minutes. Like, my first thing is like, I'm so sorry this happened to you.
The R&B singer tragically died nearly 22 years ago on the 25th of August 2001 at the age of 22, alongside 8 others after a plane destined for Miami crashed less than a minute after takeoff in the Bahamas. It was later found that the small, twin-engine plane had exceeded its maximum weight limit by several hundred pounds. The pilot of the doomed flight, who was not qualified to fly the plane, was also found to have traces of cocaine and alcohol in his body. Why the aircraft was cleared to take off in the first place has largely remained a mystery since the devastating crash almost 2 decades ago. But, in her upcoming book, Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah, music journalist Kathy Iandoli believes she's finally uncovered the truth. It was initially suggested that Aaliyah, a known nervous flyer, had insisted on boarding the plane back to Miami. But, as first reported by the Daily Beast, a Bahamian man who had been with the pop star just moments before her death has claimed that was not the case. Kingsley Russell, who was 13 at the time, had been working for his family's taxi and hospitality business when he was asked to work as a baggage carrier for the singer. Russell's mother was Aaliyah's driver during her time on the island, and he said he spoke with the star on their way to the airport. The plane was late arriving at the airport by 2 hours, Russell said. And when Aaliyah saw the size of the plane, she then refused to board it, he recounts in the book. At the same time, members of her entourage were reportedly arguing with the pilot after he told them the plane would be too heavy for 8 passengers and all of their luggage. Aaliyah had been filming what would be her last music video, Rock the Boat, on the tropical island, and her entourage was carrying heavy camera equipment with them. Aaliyah had enough common sense that the plane was overweight, Russell says in the book, as reported by The Beast. The 22-year-old, complaining she had a headache, then climbed back into the taxi van and laid down on the back seat for a quick nap. Eventually, Russell says, a member of Aaliyah's team came to check on her. A mystery pill was given during the exchange. Russell says the singer reiterated that she didn't want to get on the small plane and that she wasn't feeling well. The team member then handed Aaliyah a pill, Russell claims, which she took before falling into a deep sleep. Aaliyah was allegedly still asleep when the pilot finally caved and allowed her and her team to board the flight back to Florida. They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane, Russell recounts in the book. She went on the airplane asleep. The flight took off at 6:50 p.m., but it had only got between 60 and 100 feet in the air before nosediving back down to the ground. Aaliyah and 6 of the 8 others on board were killed instantly. 2 others died in hospital. One of those passengers was the singer's security guard. He reportedly spent his final moments worrying about Aaliyah's condition, first responders later said. Aaliyah's body was found 20 feet away from the wreckage. She was still strapped into her seat and slumped over to her left. An autopsy report concluded that her survival was unthinkable on account of the extensive burns and major head trauma she suffered. Many celebrities have voiced their opinions on concerns about the circumstances surrounding Aaliyah's death, especially given her young age and the dark, tragic nature of the accident. It's natural for people in the industry to feel a sense of empathy and concern when one of their own passes away unexpectedly, but some have indicated that Jay-Z and Beyoncé, and some even believe her Uncle Barry Hankerson had a hand in her demise.
When Aaliyah died for a wrongful death, he got paid $90 million for her death. Am I supposed to say that on TV?
Aaliyah's uncle, Barry Hankerson, introduced her to R. Kelly only at the age of 12. He handed her over under Kelly's mentorship, which gave Kelly room to mishandle Aaliyah. According to rumors, there was mental and physical abuse. There was even a marriage, all while Aaliyah was underage.
Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or friends. let's just get the record straight.
Better go get me a white Jeep.
Well, no, we're not related at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
Yeah. Who's her uncle? Told me to go up to Detroit and hear her sing. Once I got up to Detroit, I didn't have to hear her sing because she was glowing. I knew she had it. As soon as she started singing, that verified it. And from there, we became here, and everything is all good.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. For somebody to be honest about who gave Aaliyah the pills that knocked her out before she was carried onto a plane she didn't want to be on.
I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that. So you could ask Hype about that.
That's what I said. Have you ever talked to Hype about it?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
Ask him.
But I also am asking you.
Yeah, but ask him.
And with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. And that's like it never happened.
The pilot was a crackhead, a former crackhead, and even he, the crackhead, didn't want to go along with it, but he was told that he had to.
Luis Morales III was recently charged for possession and may not have been authorized to fly that plane.
So when we got there, you know, Hype was making this video, and I was like, I know Hype. I just got off of Big Pimpin', where I had to cut the video, you know what I mean? Because he likes to spend bread. So I was like, you know, he's gonna make you do another day. Don't do it. Trust me, it's just so he can spend money, you know? And sure enough, she came home that day, and I had a big house. I rented this house, and she's like, I'm going to, you know, there. And I was like, I just thought that it wasn't necessary. You know, I knew that that was gonna happen. And then when she actually saw the plane, she, you know, we had the Blackberries, and she said, I don't like this plane. And I was like, well, don't get on it. And she was like, well, I got to because I got work to do. She got on the plane, and she always had a very serious fear of planes in general. So she had to overcome a fear to get on that plane on the way there.
Unfortunately, we weren't talking when she passed. She wasn't talking to Timbaland, or I think her and Missy fell out as well.
My crew, you know, we put, you know, the style she gave everybody we're drinking. This, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? For what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time.
The fact that she was so adamant, staying in the cab, refusing to get on the plane, these are things we never knew. The only thing I've taken with me is that after 20 years, I can finally say that Aaliyah didn't want to get on the plane. So why was she drugged in, carried on the plane? This didn't have to happen. She should still be here. And I think the saddest part is she had no one to protect her, just a bunch of money-hungry creeps. She even deserved better.